Hi, I'm Clarence White Auctioneer. I'm really looking forward to seeing you at our upcoming auction. The purpose of this video is to help you be prepared and ready to bid on auction day. There's 4 key things you need to do ahead of time before auction day to ensure you're ready to bid at auction. First and foremost, you need to ensure your finance is approved by your bank well ahead of time. Don't leave it to the final week prior to the auction to speak to your bank to make application for finance, because sometimes banks can take time to approve applications. You should be speaking to your bank as far in advance as possible to ensure that pre-approval is given in a timely manner. And be sure to ask for a little bit more than you're hoping you'll need to spend in order to secure the property, just to give you the flexibility and freedom in case there is strong competition on auction day. Second, do your due diligence ahead of time. If you have any questions about the property, or if you'd like to obtain a building and pest inspection or a strata report, make sure you do that well in advance. Obtain those reports, look through them, and ask your agent any questions that you have about the property before auction day. 3, contract changes. Be sure to obtain a copy of the contract of sale from your agent well in advance. Ask your solicitor or your conveyancer to look over those documents, and if you do have any changes that you would like to make to the terms of that contract, they need to be provided in writing via your solicitor or conveyancer to the vendor's solicitor. At least 4 days prior to the auction is best practice. That allows time for the solicitors to correspond, and if those changes are approved by the vendor's solicitor in writing, then you can bid under those terms confidently on auction day. I can't stress this enough. Don't leave it till the auction day to ask for changes to the contract. Auction day can be a stressful time for vendors, and they may not feel comfortable approving changes to the contract without taking some legal advice first. So to maximise your chances to be able to bid under your preferred terms of the contract, make sure you forward those proposed changes via your solicitor at least a few days prior to the auction. Finally, have a think about who will hold and raise the bidding card at the auction on auction day, what names you intend to be listed as purchasers on the contract of sale, and who will be present to sign the contract if you are the successful purchaser. If any of the parties that you intend to have listed as purchasers on the contract of sale are not able to be present at the auction in order to bid or indeed to sign the contract, then you will need to provide an authority to bid form. You can authorise your agent to accept bids on your behalf via telephone, or you can nominate a third party such as a family member, a friend or an advocate to bid on your behalf at the auction, and that form typically also authorises the auctioneer to sign the contract on your behalf if you are the successful purchaser. Even if you personally are able to be present at the auction, but perhaps a spouse or a family member who you also intend to place as a purchaser on the contract is not able to be present, then you still need to provide a written authority from that party that authorises you to bid on their behalf and authorises me as the auctioneer to sign the contract on their behalf should they not be able to be present. Those forms can be obtained via your agent, or indeed they are also available via my website at clarencewhite.com.au. So that brings us to the auction day. What do you need to bring? In order to bid on auction day, you will need to register with your agent, and in order to register, you'll need to provide some kind of photo identification with your current residential address on it. The Australian driver's licence is the most commonly supplied form of photo identification. If you don't have an Australian driver's licence, then your passport plus a utility bill that shows your current address is your best backup plan. Secondly, you'll need a means by which to pay a deposit. If you are the successful bidder on auction day, you will be required to pay a deposit immediately following the auction and upon the signing of the contract. If you have a personal checkbook, then that's ideal, bring that. If not, visit your local bank branch in the days leading up to the auction and obtain a bank cheque for the value of 10% of your maximum budget to purchase the property. If you intend to pay deposit funds electronically, make sure you contact your bank prior to auction day to ensure that sufficient funds are in your bank account, and also that you increase your transfer limit to ensure that you are able to transfer the 10% deposit amount all in one transaction on the auction day. Please also bear in mind that it is at the vendor's discretion whether they are willing to accept an electronic transfer of the deposit funds. Some vendors are very comfortable with it, some are not comfortable with it. So don't just assume that you can do that. Make sure that you speak to your agent or speak to myself, and make sure that we seek permission from the vendor to accept an electronic deposit from you. If you intend to purchase property in the name of a company or a self-managed super fund, you'll need to bring with you something that documents your authority to purchase on behalf of that company. A letter signed by all the company directors authorising you to bid and sign on their behalf on a company letterhead, plus the registration certificate of the company will suffice. Or if you are a sole director of a company, then the registration certificate plus documents proving you are the sole director are appropriate. With all of these things in place, you are now ready to bid. My best tips for success on auction day are these. First and foremost, remember that your auctioneer and your agent are there to help you buy the property. We want what you want, which is a successful sale. Of course, we want to maximise the sale price and you want to minimise the sale price. We understand that. But if you work with us and you engage with us, we will guide you through the process and help you towards home ownership. But too often I see buyers treating the agent or the auctioneer in an oppositional manner, and I can tell you that it is entirely counterproductive and it does not increase, it reduces the chances of you successfully securing the property on auction day. Remember that I, as the auctioneer, have the authority to refuse any bid that I believe is not in the best interests of my vendor or client. For example, if you try to open the bidding at a level that is unreasonably lower than where the expected selling price probably sits, then I can and will refuse to accept that bid. My suggestion to you is to open the bidding at a level that is lower than your maximum budget you're willing to spend on the property, but that represents a fair and reasonable starting place for the auction to begin relative to the quote price and the expected price achievement on the property. Similarly, if you try to place a bid in a very small increment, for example, a $1,000 bid very early in the process when we are a long way from where the reserve price sits, as the auctioneer, I again have the authority to refuse that bid and to ask for a greater increment from you. If I do refuse your bid, please don't be offended or deterred. I am simply trying to guide you towards a level at which you can successfully secure the property and ensure that I don't waste your time or mine. Lastly, don't forget to have fun. I know that purchasing a home is a serious business, but that doesn't mean we can't have a laugh along the way. I certainly endeavour to keep things light-hearted, playful and enjoyable. Myself and the agent are there throughout the process to assist you with anything that you might need. I'm really looking forward to seeing you on auction day. If you have any questions in the meantime, please feel free to contact me directly or indeed to speak to your selling agent.